The French plus-que-parfait tense. Bonjour, I'm Jennifer, your French teacher in the south of France, and today I'm going to show you how to form and use the French plus-que-parfait. If you have already learned the passé composé and how to form the imperfect, then this lesson is going to be a breeze for you. I'll give you lots of examples and talk you through every step of the way. So let's go on and get started. When do you use the plus-que-parfait? Well, you use this tense to speak in the past, but it's not like the passé composé, right? Passé composé is when you talk about something that happened, it had a beginning and an end. So is the plus-que-parfait, but the trick is the plus-que-parfait is used when an action happened before another one did. The plus-que-parfait, if you're trying to figure out, well, what is this in English? It's called the past perfect tense in English or the plus perfect tense in English. And I'll just tell you something. Sometimes it really helps when you're studying French to look up the rules of when to use the different tenses in English. And a lot of times that can help you make a correlation. That is, if you're a native English speaker or if you speak English. Allez, so here's what we're going to talk about in this lesson. I'm going to show you how the plus-que-parfait is used with the verb avoir as helping verb, how to use it with negation so that you get all the placement right. And then I'm going to show you how to use the plus-que-parfait with the helping verb avoir and a couple of short, very common adverbs that are really used a lot with the plus-que-parfait, and that is déjà and bien. And then once you have understood, okay, I kind of get it, I understand when I'm supposed to use this tense, then I'll show you how to form it. Because actually, I think forming it is going to be really easy for you if you know the passé composé and the imperfect. I'm also going to show you how to use the plus-que-parfait with verbs that use être as helping verb. Those are your Dr. and Mrs. P. Vandertramp verbs. And just like I did with the verb avoir, I'll show you how to use them with negation and with the short adverbs déjà and bien, and then I'll show you how to form it. Last but not least, I'm going to show you how to use the plus-que-parfait with reflexive verbs. Voilà, so if you know how to use reflexive verbs already in the passé composé, then this is going to be the logical next step for you. So at this point, you might want to have a look down in the video description below. If you look down in the video description, you can follow the link to see this full lesson, plus a lot more examples and a Quizlet study set that you can use to practice and master everything that you learn here in the next few minutes. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is what the plus-que-parfait means when you compare the French sentence to the English one so that you get a real good idea of when it is that you need to use this tense. So I'll explain how everything is put together after I show you the examples. J'avais fini is the plus-que-parfait and it means I had finished. Tu avais répondu, you had responded. Il avait parlé. He had spoken. So as promised, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to form this, but I'll bet you already have a good clue, especially if you're looking at the words and letters that I have highlighted in red. Now look, I'm going to show you some examples using verbs with avoir as helping verb, but we're going to throw in some negation and make our sentences a little bit longer. Nous n'avions pas rangé la cuisine. Nous n'avions pas rangé la cuisine. Notice that the ne and the pas goes around avion. Now avion, what verb is that in the infinitive form? Yes, that's the verb avoir. So you can see here already before I sit down and show you the formation that you have avoir as helping verb, you have ranger, that is a past participle of a regular ER verb. The plus-que-parfait follows all of the same rules as the passé composé. All of them, everything you learned for the passé composé will apply to the plus-que-parfait, except, notice what you do there with your verb avoir. Yes, you've just put it into the imperfect. So when I told you that you had to know the imparfait in order to use the plus-que-parfait, you really only need to be good at it with être and avoir. Okay, I'll show you more in a few minutes. Here's another example. Vous n'aviez pas acheté de lait. Vous n'aviez pas acheté de lait. Vous n'aviez pas acheté de lait. You had not bought any milk. Ils n'avaient pas fait leur lit. Ils n'avaient pas fait leur lit. They had not made their bed. Okay? So, what I'm about to show you now are just a couple of examples using the short adverbs déjà and bien because they're used a whole lot with the plus-que-parfait. But before we do that, on all of these examples that I've shown you up until now, did you notice that in English, the way that we form the pluperfect is by saying that we had done something. So in every one of those examples, you saw the English word had followed by the English past participle. So that's what this tense is all about. It's the difference between I swim in the present tense, I swam in the past, which would correspond to the passé composé, and I had swum. That's the plus-que-parfait. D'accord? All right, so now I'm going to show you these little short adverbs, déjà and bien. They're used a whole lot with the plus-que-parfait. And I want you to pay special attention to where they're placed in the sentence. So here's one using déjà. And maybe you've heard me say before that when you have short common adverbs in French, you're going to always place them after the first conjugated verb. So if you're in the passé composé, or if you're in the plus-que-parfait, that's going to mean after the helping verb. J'avais déjà vendu ma voiture. J'avais déjà vendu ma voiture. I had already sold my car. Think of how many times we say already when we're using the pluperfect in English. It's the same in French. Voilà. Now here's another one using bien. Tu avais bien compris la leçon. Short adverb goes right after the first conjugated verb. Tu avais bien compris la leçon. You had understood the lesson well. Il avait déjà sorti le fromage. Il avait déjà sorti le fromage. He had already taken out the cheese. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is show you how to form the plus-que-parfait for verbs that use avoir as a helping verb. I just want to break it down and make sure you understand before I move on to verbs that use être. Here is avoir in the imperfect. So if you don't have this memorized just yet, well then get out your pen and your French notebook and write this down because you need it absolutely in order to use the plus-que-parfait. J'avais, tu avais, il, elle, on avait, nous avions, vous aviez, ils avaient, elles avaient. D'accord? So that is your helping verb. So if we have je as our subject pronoun and the infinitive regarder, and we want to put that in the plus-que-parfait, remember, I'm going to say j'avais plus the past participle of regarder, regarder, and then I put my sentence together, j'avais regardé, I had watched. There's that word had again, followed by a past participle in English. An example using tu and the infinitive grossir. Here's a regular IR verb for you. Tu avais grossi. Tu avais, helping verb, grossi, past participle, you had gained weight. And an example in the third person singular using il as our subject and the regular RE verb entendre, which means to hear. So il avait, that's our helping verb, entendu, past participle. Remember, RE verbs, if they're regular, you just take the RE off of the infinitive and add a U, and then you have your past participle. Il avait entendu. He had heard. D'accord? All right, so if you're feeling good about that, then I am ready to show you some examples using être. Here's something I want to tell you before we get started. A lot of people, when they're translating the passé composé, like if you hear j'ai parlé, a lot of my English-speaking students want to translate j'ai parlé as I have spoken. Okay, that's fine. You can do that, but it also just means I spoke. the actual word avoir is not always going to be present, but we're still going to, in the plus-que-parfait, even when we use être as a helping verb, you're going to translate it with the English word had. I'll show you what I mean and it'll make more sense. Let's have a look then at when être is the helping verb in the plus-que-parfait. So here is your verb être in the imperfect. J'étais, tu étais, il, elle, on était. Nous étions, vous étiez, ils étaient, elles étaient. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. Even though the verb être is your helping verb, look at the English translation. It still says we had come back, even though your verb avoir, which means to have, is not in there. And here's a perfect example of when, you can't just literally translate one language word by word for another one. D'accord? So all of these verbs that I'm using are from the Dr. and Mrs. Pete Vandertramp list, and if you don't have that list, I've put a link to it in the blog post, and there's a PDF on my website that you can download. Those are the verbs that use être as helping verb. Okay, so nous étions revenus. Nous étions revenus means we had come back. That's the infinitive revenir, right, which means to come back. And remember, in the passé composé, when you're using être as helping verb, the rule says that you have to make agreement between the subject and the past participle. So the same rules apply in the plus-que-parfait, and that's why you'll see all of these E's and S's that I've put on the ends of the past participles. Vous étiez partis, now that means you had left. Ils étaient tombés, they had fallen. Okay, here are some examples using negation. Je n'étais pas devenue actrice. Je n'étais pas devenue actrice. And there, actually, I shouldn't have the E in parentheses, should I? I just noticed that. Because actrice is a feminine word, which would indicate that je is feminine. D'accord? So just imagine that those parentheses aren't around the E. I had not become an actress. Here's another example for you using tu in negation. Tu n'étais pas resté longtemps. Tu n'étais pas resté longtemps. You had not stayed a long time. And another example. Il n'était pas monté. Il n'était pas monté means he had not gone upstairs. That verb monter does just mean to go up. It also means to climb into a car or a train or something like that. But when you just have it like this, il n'était pas monté, with nothing after it, it sort of indicates that the person, the subject of the sentence, is going upstairs. D'accord? Now, here is our little adverb déjà again. So I wanted to give you another example. Remember, it comes right after the first conjugated verb in a sentence. So that's after the helping verb in the plus-que-parfait. Je m'étais déjà couché. Je m'étais déjà couché. D'accord? All right, so you notice here, this is a reflexive verb, se coucher. I told you I was going to show you some reflexive verbs. When you have reflexive verbs, yes, you have to use être as the helping verb, and then you also have your reflexive pronoun to deal with. So take note, just like in the passé composé, your pronoun, whatever it is going to come before the helping verb. So here's what it looks like. I had already gone to bed. Here's another reflexive verb for you to have a look at. Tu t'étais bien lavé les cheveux. Tu t'étais bien lavé les cheveux. You had washed your hair well. Now, two things to notice, of course, bien comes after the first conjugated verb. And also, just to remind you that all of the passé composé rules apply to the plus-que-parfait, look at the past participle laver, and you may wonder, well, why is there no E with parentheses around it there? Because tu might be feminine. This is when I just want to remind you of the body part rule when you're using reflexive verbs in the passé, either in the passé composé or the plus-que-parfait or whatever tense, composed tense in the past. You do not make agreement when you have a body part that follows that past participle. You may have also heard it referred to as a direct object, okay? But the direct object with reflexive verbs is always going to be a body part, so it's easier to remember that way. For me, it is. And one more example. Elle s'était déjà regardée dans la glace. Elle s'était déjà regardée dans la glace. She had already looked at herself in the mirror. All right, so now I'm just going to show you again the actual formation of the plus-que-parfait when être is your helping verb. So what you do is you start with your subject, je in this case, and then you have a verb like venir, right? That means to come. J'étais, that's the helping verb être in the imperfect. J'étais plus the past participle venu. J'étais venu, I had come. And how about tu and the infinitive descendre? Tu étais, that's our helping verb. Tu étais descendu, past participle of descendre. Tu étais descendu, you had gone downstairs. So just like tu étais monté meant that you had gone upstairs, tu étais descendu means that you had gone downstairs. So that's kind of practical to know. Oh, here's a verb that we use all the time, right? Aller. You've been using it all the time ever since the beginning when you first started learning French. And here it is again in the plus-que-parfait. And all of a sudden you will know how to say he had gone. So present tense, il va, he goes. Passé composé, il est allé, he went. And the plus-que-parfait, il était allé, he had gone. So that's pretty cool. Nous, with the infinitive retourner, nous étions retournés, nous étions retournés, we had gone back. Vous, with the verb rester, vous étiez restés, vous étiez resté, you had stayed or you had remained, right? And finally, ils, with the verb sortir, they had gone out. Ils étaient sortis. Ils étaient sortis. So, please do go over to the blog so that you can look at all of this written down, print it out, whatever, add it to your French notebook, and then you can practice using that Quizlet that I put together for you. Okay, so I've put ones on there where you use avoir, others where you use être, and I've also put a good number of reflexive verbs on there. And that will help you with your pronunciation as well, because remember on Quizlet, if you turn on the sound on your computer or your phone or whatever, you can hear it, and you can join my class, my Quizlet class, and you can get all kinds of new sets every week because I'm always adding to that, even when there's not a video lesson. So don't forget. Okay, couple things, other things not to forget. And that is, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, why don't you go ahead and do it? That's easy to do. You can subscribe. I'm putting out new video lessons every Thursday. If you're wondering, well, how can I become a part of Love Learning Languages French project? There is a way you can do that, and if you want to find out, just follow the link to Patreon down in the video description below. Please do come and join us on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and if you're a French teacher, you can come and check out my TPT store. Again, all of the links are down in the video description below. Last but very not least, I have also a newsletter. I have a newsletter that I put out once a week, usually once a week, and I would love for you to become a part of that, because that way I can let you know about the videos, yes, but also about all of the new resources that I'm adding every week to the blog and to Quizlet and all that other good stuff. All right, thank you very much. I'd love to hear if you have any questions, and I'd also love to see you write an example in the comments using your new skill, which is, of course, le plus-que-parfait, the plus perfect in French. Allez, merci beaucoup et à la semaine prochaine. Ciao!